Hey everyone, and welcome back to Brian's Horror Movies for Life YouTube channel, and back to my 1980s horror movie series, where we're taking a look at movies from 1982 and reviewing them. So the movie where I'm going to take a look at today is actually a gialli, or giallo, depending on your whichever you'd like. Um, and that movie is by Dario Argento, Tenebrae. So yeah, let's talk about Tenebrae by Dario Argento from 1982. So Tenebrae is a 1982 Italian giallo film written and directed by Dario Argento. The film stars Anthony Francosa, an American author, as American author Peter Neal, who, while in Rome promoting his latest murder mystery novel, becomes embroiled in the search for a serial killer who may have been inspired to kill by his novel. John Saxon, Dario Nicolodi co-star as Neal's agents and assistant, respectively, while Giuliano Gemma and Carola Stagnaro appear as detectives investigating the murders. Those Italian names, and me trying to pronounce them. So basically, the film opens. Peter Neal, an American writer of violent horror novels, visits Italy to promote his latest book, Tenebrae. He is accompanied by his literary agent, Bulmer, and his assistant, Anne. Neal is unaware that he has also been followed to Rome by his embittered ex-fiancée, Jane. Just before Neal arrives in Rome, Elsa, a young kleptomaniac, is murdered with a razor by an unseen assailant. The murderer sends Neal a letter informing him that his works have inspired him to go on a killing spree. Neal is soon contacted by police captain Germani, a fan of his novels, and his partner, Inspector Altieri. More killings take place. Tildy, a queer journalist and friend of Neal's who nonetheless considers his novels sexist, is murdered at her home along with her lover Marion. Maria, the young daughter of the owner of Neal's hotel, is hacked to death with an axe after discovering the killer's lair. Neal notices that TV interviewer Cristiano Berti has an unusually intense interest in his work. Ugh, got something in my eye there. That night, Neal and Bulmer's assistant Gianni go to watch Bertie's house. Gianni approaches the home alone to get a better view and witnesses Bertie getting hacked to death with an axe. However, Gianni is unable to see the murderer's face and returns to Neal, only to find the novelist unconscious on the lawn. So that's a lot, I know. But anyway, that's to set up the premise, the beginning of Tenebrae from 1982. As far as the cast goes, we have Anthony Franciosa as Peter Neal, John Saxon as Bulmer, Dario Nicolodi as Anne, Giuliani Gemma as Captain Germani, Carola Stagnaro as Inspector Altieri, John Steiner as Cristiano Berti, Laura Wendell as Maria Alboreto, and Veronica Lario as Jane McCarroll. Oh, God, I'm sure I butchered all of those. But anyway, that's to set up the premise and the cast for the 1982 Dario Argento movie Tenebrae. Admittedly, I haven't seen a lot of giallo movies. I think I've seen 5 or 6, including like Suspiria, Inferno, The Strange Vice of Mrs. Ward. A handful. What do you call it? What's the common one? Oh, now I can't think of the name of it. Something Red. I want to say Deep. No, that's not right. The Color of Red. No, I'm getting it wrong. Never mind. Anyway, I've seen about 6 giallos. This is the best one, though. But I do preference that by saying I haven't seen even half of. I know there's hundreds of them that exist, but I've only seen about 5 or 6. So yeah, this is my favorite one. It's my favorite Dario Argento movie. It's my favorite giallo movie. The first time I watched this, I absolutely loved it. So let's get into why. Let's talk about the things that I like about this movie. I think, for me, it's the best and most unique murder mystery giallo I have seen, with twists and turns, especially in the last third of the movie. and it has a story that's very creative and executed brilliantly. I've never seen a story like this before, a murder mystery like this before, where I don't know how much I want to give away. This movie has been out for like 50, well, almost 50 years, 45 years, 43 years, but who's counting? You basically you have a killer who's then killed, and another character kind of takes over for him. That's all I'm going to say. I don't think I've ever seen another movie like that. I just think that it's so unique and so well done. I was totally into and engaged in the murder mystery aspects of it. It's just brilliant. I just love the movie. The score is absolutely amazing and really adds so much to the POV chase scenes and the tension throughout the movie. It kind of gives you that feeling that anything could happen at any time, day or night. Anything around the corner could be coming. I mean, it's just, I just love that. I just love that tension and that atmosphere, and the music has a lot to do with it. The score that Dario Argento has here. The movie has some terrific tracking shots and filming that brings the murder mystery to life and makes it very engaging throughout. There's a crane shot at one point in the movie where it starts by looking by a character that's looking out the window, and then it goes up on this building or this house, and it goes to this other window, another character, and it just kind of does for like 3 or 4 minutes. It does this whole crane shot, tracking shot thing around the house, and it's just great. It's a really beautiful movie to look at, although it's not quite as stylish, I would say, as like Suspiria's or even Inferno. It doesn't have that kind of colorful palette or style, although it's still very much a giallo. But frankly, I like a little more substance over style. But don't get me wrong, I do like those movies. But this one, I think the murder mystery, the story that's involved here is much thicker and deeper, to me anyway. But definitely some great filming in this movie. Of course, it is a giallo, so you have the black gloves, you have the bright red melted crayon kind of blood. You have the straight edge razor that's used for a lot of the kills by the killer. The best kill, of course, and the thing that stands out about this movie, I think for a lot of people, especially me, is the kill towards the end of the movie where one of the characters is holding a gun on her table, and all of a sudden an arm breaks through the window with an axe, and it chops off her arm, and there's this white wall behind her that she becomes an artist with the blood spurting. Oh, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. I love that scene. That's Argento's best kill, I think, of his entire movie collection. But she basically sprays bright red blood on a white wall and creates art, as Argento creates art, really. But that's the best kill. That's the most memorable scene in the entire movie for me. But there's a lot of memorable scenes in the movie, frankly. But I have to mention that one. The performances in this movie are great, led by Anthony Franciosa, John Saxon, and Dario Nicolodi, who, of course, is in a lot of Argento giallo movies. Those three bring so much to the table. It's so much gravitas to the movie. But really, across the board, I didn't find any. I thought all the performances were good. The movie does have a fair amount of nudity, topless nudity, not a lot. Especially for a giallo movie. There's probably other ones that have more, but it has some. And the gore in this movie is definitely there. Mostly blood, I would say. But yeah, it's very typical giallo in that regard, but it really works for this movie. Really, what separates this giallo movie from the rest is the story, the murder mystery aspects of it, and the twists and turns that come out of that in the third act of the movie. So, yeah, what can I say, guys? I just absolutely love Tenebrae. And again, I have it on DVD by Synapse Films here. I don't know if there's probably a better, I'm sure there is a better release of the movie, probably on Blu-ray. Somebody can comment down below if there's a specific Blu-ray or a different version of this movie that has more, although this one does have quite a few special features on it. So, but if there is an upgrade possibility, this is definitely a movie I could see upgrading. If somebody can tell me that it looks a lot better, it has more special features, and it's the definitive release to get of this movie, because I do like having like the best releases of my top movies. Like I know I upgraded The Changeling earlier this year. Obviously Trick or Treat most recently, and also Creep Show. So if somebody can let me know if they're what the best version of Tenebrae is, because this is one of my top horror / giallo movies. So as far as cons go to Tenebrae, there's some scenes I think that could have been shortened up just a little bit. The one that comes to mind is the dog attack scene, where one of the characters falls upon this gate that this dog basically it scares her at first. She's on the other side of the fence or the gate, but then she kind of she makes the mistake of kind of teasing the dog, shall we say, taking a stick and like hitting the gate with it. And of course the dog escapes and it chases her and attacks her a couple different times. But I just felt like eventually she falls upon this house to for safe harbor, and ends up being the house of the killer. So I get that all fits in the movie, but I just think they could have shortened it up and moved it along a little bit more. There are a lot of the women in this movie all kind of look the same. They're similar brunette-looking women, so that was kind of hard to keep track of all the characters. And then I'd say the very end of the movie, I call BS a little bit on that, as there's this sort of I don't know if it's like a piece of art in the house that basically ends up taking out the final killer in the movie. That was just, and then it ends abruptly. I would have liked a little bit better ending than that, but again, it doesn't take away from my absolute enjoyment of Tenebrae, which I'm going to give an 8.5 out of 10 to this movie. 8.5 out of 10 for Tenebrae from 1982 by Dario Argento. Go ahead and comment down below your thoughts on this movie as a giallo. Do you like it as much as I do, or not? Give me your reasons. Please like this video, hit the little notification bell, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. It would really help me out for the future and the content on my channel. But with all that being said, thank you for watching. I hope you're enjoying my 1982 horror movie reviews. Still got quite a few more to go, but as always, stay scared.